So,
Deadbeat,
question
whatever.
for both of you, I guess. But Destiny, what do you think the future of the red pill is? Just because you've been in it, not in it, but you've been aware of it longer, and you've seen kind of how it's transformed. And what do you think?
I feel like it's on its way down, but mainly because Andrew Tate kind of pulled the plug on it, and he doesn't associate it with it anymore.
Oh, I heard that.
Yeah,
That's
and then
crazy. I didn't get to look it up today.
I said that too because I heard it, but I didn't look it up either.
So what?
Didn't Tristan also? I don't. I
How
heard
did
that
that
like
happen?
Tristan tweeted that like don't compare me to them. They're autistic or something.
they grifted a little bit. They made a lot of money on the red pill and they're kind of like grifting in a new direction, I think. They
Do you think when it dies down, because do you think that all those men that were listening to them, like, where do you think they're going? Do you think they're going to get further, like, radicalized? Do you think they're going to go black pill? What do you think
I think they'll probably
the next 5 years will look like?
The majority of them will probably revert back to the normie pool, and they'll
Okay.
just feel like a little jaded. And then some percent will probably get increasingly radicalized. But I think a big problem is like people on the left don't ever want to talk to majority classes. Like they don't want to talk to men, they don't want to talk to white people, and then they just do this really cringe performative like woke shit is probably gone a little bit too far. So
I agree.
Yeah, they need to start doing a better job at talking to majority groups, I think. Otherwise, they're all just become Trump fanatics, basically. Yeah.
It seems like they just made their money and now they're out.
Basically, that's what the Tates did.
The Tates,
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like the guy that Andrew, was his name Andrew too? The guy that
Andrew Wilson?
So is that kind of content no longer going to be as popular in your opinion?
Well, first of all, he's not popular. And then secondly, he represents a more niche far right. He's like he's like a Christian nationalist or something weird. Yeah.
Or like girls like Pearl, do you think they're still going to have a space in the online world, or do you think that they're popular?
I don't think anybody knows how big Pearl really is.
Okay.
Her numbers were blown up a lot by YouTube Shorts. When I look at her performance for long form content and her performance on other shows, she buoyed herself onto what's that mainstream BBC guy?
Piers Morgan?
Yeah. She got her way onto that show, and now she makes some appearances there. But I don't think she was ever as big online as people think. I think Fresh and Fit were still like the big...
I was gonna go, but then I heard that her show's all the way in the UK, and I was like, should I? And I looked at the view. I was like, it's like 22,000.
It's bad for a million plus
and I was
channel.
like, I'm not going to the UK for someone that gets 22,000 views.
Yeah.
So she seems like you said, because I'm like, oh, maybe this is huge. Maybe it's worth it for me to go all the way over there. And I actually looked, and I'm like, oh, I guess I just see, like you said, her in TikToks or Shorts.
Exactly, yeah. And then if you look at her behavior, like it feels like somebody that's like grasping for relevancy. I don't know how much you followed her Twitter. I blocked it like months ago. It is.
You blocked her?
Yeah, she's so unhinged. It's just like seeing it every day. It's just like basically like think of like any problem in society. Like give me like a problem. Think of any problem in society.
Inflation.
It'll be something like women going on TikTok all day and buying stupid shit is causing the world inflation. It'll be like every random
it's all
problem.
Of women.
Yeah, everything. It's
These
like the
are
dumbest.
women. Oh my god,
Yeah.
I am convinced that women, like the women who get on F&F panels a lot and who all agree with them. Yeah, it's the women. Oh, women are this. Yep, women handle things worse. This.
Yeah.
I'm not saying we're perfect, but I'm just saying these women who always agree with them and they're just like on the man side. They are.
She famously like believes women should vote, right?
No,
Pearl, yes.
It's because they want a man. Like they want to be more likable by men.
Pick-me's.
You're
They're
talking about that, yeah.
They're
I'm learning this
pick-me's.
with you.
They're pick-me's. Like if they agree with them and stuff, then they think they'll get picked. I think.
Well, I mean, yeah, you could argue she was picked for a while, but I was just curious what Destiny's take was on how this community, because you've been in this a really long time. I was just like, is this going to be like a thing, or is this one of those things like, I don't know how internet trends work, like how long...
I mean, Tate is what exploded it. The Tate's phenomenon exploded it. They're probably going to jail for sex trafficking. And then now all you have left is like Fresh and Fit. And I think they're trying to broaden a bit more as they're bringing more people on to, like, I think I even heard Myron say a couple days ago, like Redpill's not just about dating, it's about all these other things in life. So he's trying to expand more. Other people like this guy called MLD, Rollo Tomasi, Donovan Sharp, these guys are losers that will never get more popular than they are now. So like they have no upwards trajectory. And then, so basically it's just like you watch Fresh and Fit to see how far the Red Pill stuff will go, because that's like the only podcast I think that has any upward mobility at all anymore.
So they're the biggest Red Pill podcast.
Yeah.
For sure, yeah.
Edmund, thanks for the $50. Thanks for saving that, not wasting on OnlyFans. Good job.
What?
Destiny's chat.
Oh, he donated $50 instead of spending it on you guys.
This is the only thing I've done where I actually don't even care if I get an OnlyFans. I just want to meet you because you seem sane, and I'm like, what did I do? I just left law and this shit is fucking insane. These people are crazy. And then I was like, oh, somebody's not crazy.
Yeah, a little bit. I try not to be. Yeah, the island of sanity. But I'm also leaving this space, the Red Pill. I'm going back to politics because that space was mind-rotting.
What made you want to go into it?
The problem is, how do I say this? I think I have a decent number of qualities that I think people want. So like I am fairly active in terms of hooking up. I think my wife is very pretty. I make a lot of money. I like play video games professionally, or I did. Like my life is kind of like a dream life, but I have like the total opposite view to a lot of these guys. And I have a lot of experience in relationships. I've had like 4 or 5 long-term relationships. I've had a lot of experience with like hooking up. And when I hear these people talk about hookup dynamics or relationship dynamics, it's like so wrong. And then when I see people saying things to huge audiences or so on, I'm like, this is ripe for like some sort of like, confrontation.
Makes sense. And obviously, like that's my thing when I was watching this. If it was actually like we were actually looking at facts, like me, like looking at statistics, I was like, it's really easy to debunk all this. Like
that's so I had a. Did you ever see my really big debate with Rollo and Michael Sartain?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, so like on the end of that, for instance, what you just said, I went through like, here's 5 facts about divorce. I actually think men fare better than women in divorce.
They didn't say you were lying.
They didn't say anything. It was so awkward at the end. Like Myron literally said, "Are you sure you guys don't want to say anything?" They just dropped it completely. But it's like you said, when you go into politics online, you're thinking it's going to be like fucking law school. Where it's like, I'm going to sit here and research.
Look,
but it's more just like, I'm going to Google a study and read 3 sentences about it, and your whole narrative falls apart.
That blew my mind because I was not on social media at all prior to 2 years ago.
The divorce stat. That's been brought up for over a year. And then, and I looked into it, and I'm like, wait, this is actually totally backwards.
She finally debunked that on their show.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. But there has to be like, in law school, there's always a Federalist Society, and you argue, but you don't, there's like a basis of, okay, anecdotal evidence isn't as strong as this type. But these people are just like, no, you're lying, and I know somebody, and the guy I know doesn't like old women, so they're like, and I'm like,
but then you're fucked because the panels are designed so that they always have the majority on their side too. So then you look crazy when you try to fight back. Yeah.
I didn't think about, like, I didn't know I was just like, oh, we're all searching for the truth, but I was so naive.
People who hate her. What is it, cum slurper or whatever?
People now from yesterday, they're like, this OF semen slurper. And they actually did the research for me. Like, these insults are like, she's right about this, and she's right about this. And they did linked all these studies. I didn't even look that into.
And still called her a semen slurper throughout the whole thing, but was like, she's right. So
this stuff, it's like, you don't even have to be good or smart to debunk this shit. But you just have to be, but they're not actually wanting their shit to get deep.
They're just like looking for stuff that kind of supports them, and then
No, it's good to have the contrast of you being in this space because they're children. They act like little children. They call women bitches. They're like, you're dumb, you're stupid, you're fat, you're ugly, you're old, you're saggy. This is how they talk. They're just
Why do you think when you said the same stat I said, it was okay with you did it, but when I did it, I was a liar? What do you think the reason is? Is it just because you're like a little bit? I'm
They're not going to let a woman ruin their show.
Yeah, I'm funny. I'm charismatic. I'm rhetorically effective. I'm intelligent. Yeah, the shows are set up so that the women are kind of there to kind of like bully, and then like the men are like kings.
So you think that probably played a factor?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's why if you look at like all these Redpill shows, it's always like 3 men and like 12 women. So you're basically like, you ever see like Lord of the Rings?
We're like the harem.
I actually never seen. I know.
It's like any like fantasy science fiction thing, or like Star Wars, where like the one guy can slay like 50 soldiers in front of him. Like women are like the stormtroopers, and you're like, I don't know if any of these references are hitting you.
No. I mean, I'm not really, but I was just like,
do you
I don't
consume
get it.
any
like,
pop culture, fantasy, entertainment?
When you say, I mean, and not to say that you don't get a lot of hate for their group. And there's a thing where they just change the beginning of your name to they're like, you're just like
Destiny,
everything. I'm like, I don't even know these insults, but
I don't know what they mean.
I was just like, you've been successful at this. I feel like where no one else has, and I do think, you are rhetorically effective. You're very charismatic, but I was just like, how come I can say the same thing he said? And I just get told I'm a liar because the chat probably called you a liar too.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, but no, I mean you're right. It has to do with probably the gender. Yeah, okay. It's a big thing. Yeah,
because women are dumb and we have low IQs, or we're annoying and uncombative.
Well, here's my thing with them. If you just want to come on to say shit. But when Myron says this is based on science and logic, well, logic and science have rules. There's a scientific method. Logic has rules. Your argument has to be valid and it has to be sound. There has to be premises that logically lead to the conclusion. This is how logic. So I was like, oh, this is going to be easy to debunk because none of this fits that. But then that's not even what they're doing. They're just saying that's what they're doing. And that's